And welcome back in, everybody, to another edition of the Auburn Undercover podcast and on the Auburn Undercover YouTube channel. My name is Nathan King, joined today by Jason Caldwell, as Auburn is still looking for its first SEC win of the season. Looks like they have a good opportunity to do so. They're a favorite in the SEC for the first time this season after what everyone on this staff and obviously players, everyone would admit is a really tough stretch to open the year. They host Mississippi State here on Saturday. Jason, we're recording this here on Tuesday afternoon. This was an extremely eventful day of player interviews. I think we got a ton out of talking to players. We'll start, though, with the quarterbacks. This is the first time we've talked to Peyton Thorne since after the Georgia game. I don't think we've talked to Robbie Ashford since the season opener, I believe.
Maybe as early in the season for sure.
So this has not been, with the struggles this team has had, they've not been made available to the media very consistently. We'll start with talking about Peyton Thorne. I thought his comments were, look, I don't think it's dramatic or anything for me to say that he's frustrated.
Yeah.
I think it's very clear that he's frustrated. Everybody is with this offense right now. But he talked a little bit about this quarterback rotation, Jason, and how this is something that, look, it's foreign to him, and he thinks it'd be foreign to pretty much everybody. He said he's not sure he's seen an offense do this before. So obviously it's something they're still trying to work through, and it is causing some frustrations right now.
Yeah, I think let's answer that one, because somebody asked about it, said, he sure looks frustrated. I would hope he is.
Yeah.
You
don't want to be complacent.
No, I would want my quarterback to be frustrated with the way they're playing right now, and with no rhythm, no big plays, the passing game the way it's struggled. I would think there would be plenty of frustration, but I think it comes back to something that Peyton Thorne kept talking about. Is like we got to make some plays. Guys have to make plays. I think he included himself in that group. But look, wide receivers have to make plays. We got to run the right routes. Things they're doing during the week in preparation for a game, they're not carrying over to Saturday. Why that is, I don't know. Some of it is a new offense is unfamiliar, and when you get different looks, all of a sudden you have to make adjustments on the fly, and that's a very different thing. They haven't been able to do that very much. But to me, it came back to the rotation part of things. He hasn't done that before. Robbie Ashford has done it more, but even Robbie Ashford didn't do it much until it was his job late in the year, and then there wasn't much rotation after that. Will that continue? How will it work? Can it be successful? I don't know that it can be. If we see it again Saturday, will it look a little better? Will it look? I don't know, because it's not going to be easy. Mississippi State's defense is a very difficult bunch to go up against in terms of the blitzing things they do. And if you're Auburn, this is not the easiest game just to roll it out there and say, oh, it'll get all better this week on offense. It may not.
Yeah, I wanted to get the exact quote so that I had it verbatim. Quote, I've never had to do that before. It's a new challenge for me. I've never really seen anybody else do that either. So I don't know if there's anybody I can ask to learn from. On the Robbie Ashford side of things, you sort of get the sense, like you're talking about early in the season, he and TJ went back and forth. TJ's shoulder injury kind of opened the door for him to have the job the rest of the season. You get the sense from Ashford that he's like, I'm glad, I'm the backup quarterback. I'm glad I'm still playing in every single game. But similar to how you feel like it's a lot of this read-based passing game with Thorne that they're not able to execute on the other side of the ball, on the other side with Ashford, it's like Freeze talked about Monday, there are some reads involved there that are not correct. He admitted today, he said, I made the wrong read on the very first play of the game. And so, it comes down to execution. I think, like you said, Jason, the number one question, maybe for this entire team right now, is how can you get this to translate? Because going back to fall camp, that's what Thorne said. He said, look, we've been doing this stuff at a high level and executing in a good way at practice. How do you get that translated into a game? Sometimes it just takes one game, though. Sometimes it just takes one solid performance, and can they get it on Saturday against Mississippi State? I think it's going to be huge, not only for that, and also for them to get some momentum the rest of the season.
I think confidence is as important as anything. Just going out there and having some success is a big deal. They haven't had much of that. Can you carry that over, and can you have success in a game like this? If you do, then you start to go, okay, I think, we've had people talking about it, and I think they're right. I have some people saying, look, this offense doesn't have any swagger about it at all. That is a real thing. Maybe it doesn't translate to beating Georgia, doing those things, but it absolutely translates to going out and having some energy about yourself. And right now, it's an offense that's searching. They're just searching for something. And the biggest thing that would help that was having somebody step up and go, hey, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take over and make a couple plays. Right now, they haven't had that guy.
And look, on Monday, Freeze did not exactly confirm that they're going to continue to do this. It's what they've done all season. He said, look, if what the offensive staff brings to me, if what we meet about over the course of the week, we think that's going to be the most successful thing, that's what we're going to go out and do. But that's where the frustrations come from him on his side. Obviously, the fan base is very frustrated, is that they think it's a good game plan during the week. Multiple players said going to Ole Miss, they felt like it was a good game plan. then they went out there and it just wasn't necessarily executed at a high level. A couple other players we talked to today, Jason, that I thought was really insightful. Number one, Connor Lew.
Yeah.
I think doubtful was the exact phrase Hugh Freeze used for Avery Jones on Monday. He's Auburn's starting center, the East Carolina transfer. But Connor Lew came in when that injury happened to Jones on Saturday. We've known for a while, I know you and Christian have been high on him ever since Auburn picked him up. Doesn't look like a freshman. That's what Peyton Thorne said today. This is not a guy who looks like a true freshman. Stepped in and, I mean, he played really, really well. I thought he held up really nicely in that game.
The toughest part is the mental side of the game. Physically, I don't think there's any question that Connor Lew can go out and hold his own with pretty much anybody. The mental side of things, and now that you've been through it a little bit, you've been thrown into the fire. Now you've got a chance to prepare, and obviously Mississippi State's going to bring some exotic blitzes, do some different things there on that side of the ball. But Ole Miss did some of those things as well, and I thought overall it was a pretty solid performance by him. It sure seems like he's going to get his first start come Saturday, based on everything that we're reading in the tea leaves right now. I think it's exciting for him. I think it's exciting for the future of this team because, Christian's behind the camera there, but we talked about this guy when he got a commitment from Auburn and when he signed with Auburn about this was an all-SEC type addition for an offensive line that had not had very many of those in the past decade, really. I think he showed a little bit of that Saturday. I think this is another opportunity for him to gain some of that experience and to play well because he's going to be the guy beginning next season for this team, in my opinion. I don't think there's much doubt in that right now. And this would be another experience for him to go out. But, can you go out and perform like that against Mississippi State and help this offense get better along the way? I think he can.
I don't have to preach to Auburn fans about the importance of recruiting, though, Jason, but I was thinking about it today. Think about the three players that Freeze came in and flipped. Keldrick Falk is having to play because of a season-ending injury. Connor Lew is having to play for Avery Jones, and Kyan Lee had to play a huge role at the beginning of the year when Nehemiah Pritchard was injured. Those guys, if you do not get that level of talent, then the players you have to push in there are not as good, and they may not be as SEC ready. And so that's maybe a little bit of hope for the future for Auburn fans, that if you recruit at a way like that, the guys who are going to come in the game, they're going to look a lot more like Connor Lew maybe than Auburn is used to. Yeah, a couple other players, Jalen Simpson and Eugene Asante, of course, maybe the two best players on defense right now. Talking about this mentality for the defense, Simpson is always quite the character. Was making us laugh, but really their mindset is that they've just got to go one game at a time. And as much as that is a cliche right now, we mentioned it earlier, confidence, I think, look, they're not lacking confidence on defense. This is a good group. I think they think the LSU performance, just kind of throw it away. LSU's going to do that to everybody. But they, on that side of the ball as well, feeling like, look, if they can just get a win against Mississippi State on Saturday, or maybe when it needs to come later, but a win on Saturday, you look at the teams they have left, it's not LSU, it's not Ole Miss, it's not Georgia. It's a 3-game stretch where the combined record is 1-12 in the SEC. So, I mean, to see it glass half full when you're 0-4 in the SEC, the back half of this league schedule for them actually sets up pretty nicely. It's
opportunity, but again, I think we get back to that thing. Can they get some confidence? A win would be massive for this team, and you need to do it at home because you ride into Vanderbilt on a 5-game losing streak, and all of a sudden there's more questions than answers. And Vandy's a team that can throw it around a little bit, can scare you, do some things. Obviously, Arkansas, I mean, that's still a team that, while they've lost a bunch of games in a row, they've all been close, and so they've played teams tight. Yeah, to be able to get a victory Saturday would be, I think, huge for the program itself. It may seem crazy, you go to Mississippi State and go, they just need some wins to start stacking up. And Jalen Simpson said, look, we want to get to a bowl game. They want to play and to set a foundation for the future, but these guys just want to play more football too, and Saturday night's another opportunity. Yeah, I thought it was a difference in personalities there of Simpson just saying, look, man, I just like playing football. I want to go play another game. Eugene Asante maybe was a little bit more zoomed out, saying first you turn around a losing season, then you go to a bowl game, then you win 9 or 10 games, then you go to a championship. And so as maybe as from other programs, other fans looking around saying, oh, the Birmingham Bowl and Gasparilla Bowl doesn't really matter. Yeah. For Auburn, it is a tangible step in the right direction. And it's the difference between a guy that has 1 year left and a guy that has maybe multiple years left. Exactly. Going, I can be part of those things. For Jalen Simpson, is like, I just want to experience it as much as I can. Well, he said he's never won a bowl game since he's been here at Auburn. We'll touch real quickly before we go. We talked a lot about offense. Like you said, tricky Mississippi State defense, but their own offense. Will Rogers, we will see if he's able to play in this game. Mike Wright is the Vanderbilt transfer, more of a dynamic dual threat Robbie
guy.
Ashford kind of guy.
Exactly. They really struggled, though, on offense. Look, they won that game against Arkansas, but they really struggled on offense. You get the feeling maybe this is a game where they kind of want to turn the tide because even if Will Rogers isn't able to play. This Mississippi State offense, I know it's a different offense. It's a bit of bumps in the road after Mike Leach's passing in terms of their offensive scheme, but this offense has destroyed them the past couple years.
Yeah.
They've been super efficient, and so I think this is a good spot for them to go out on Saturday and possibly get a win there. But they do have to play well on the defensive side.
Yeah, you look at it based on what we've seen so far this season. You got to think that in basketball there's that magic number that you get to that magic number, you feel good about it.
Yeah.
Saturday that magic number might be 20.
Yeah.
This may be an Iowa looking
17,
football
yeah.
game on Saturday, but you have the potential to make some plays. But the biggest thing is, can you find a way to get a W?
I think these teams are pretty similar. If you look at them, there's defenses that have been middle of the pack in the SEC, but when you actually watch them, they are pretty impressive. And then offenses that just
New systems, new schemes,
yep.
trying to kind of figure it out.
Yeah, all for different reasons, of course, on both sides. But should be an interesting one on Saturday inside Jordan-Hare Stadium. Thank you guys so much for listening to this edition of the podcast or watching on the YouTube channel. For Jason Caldwell, I'm Nathan King. We'll catch you guys later. Everybody have a good rest of the week.